Alrighty, good afternoon, Arkansas. Well, actually, good evening, Arkansas. This is Assistant Chief Forecaster Cameron back here once again. I'm going to give you guys a live update going over a very, very interesting upcoming work week for you guys across the board. By the way, if I'm looking down, this is our trusty tablet. It's got all your comments on here, so I'll be able to pull them up and stuff like that here. So I'm going to wait for a little bit, wait for some folks to come in. Good Saturday evening, everyone. This is Saturday, right? It's Saturday. Yeah, it's Saturday. So good Saturday evening, everybody. Just wait for everybody to come in and stuff like that. We had a lot of people kind of waiting and tuning in and stuff like that. We've got a lot to go over. When I mean a lot of information, I've got a lot of information to go over. Okay, so I think I've maxed out on everybody I'm going to get from right now. If anybody else tunes in later on, then they can always rewind the live stream, stuff like that. And also, if y'all have any questions or anything like that, if I don't get to you in the live stream, feel free to inbox us. I know a lot of people have Christmas plans and stuff like that here. Okay, so first and foremost, I'm going to talk to you guys about the 6 to 10 day outlook. You guys know the deal by now. We've been talking about it, or you've probably seen it all over your social media. Nothing but cold air coming our way as we get towards this time frame here. This Christmas, unlike last year when we were talking about 70s for potential highs and the southerly winds, stuff like that, this time around we could potentially be talking about daytime highs not even getting out of the teens or even at single digits for some folks, with those wind chill values easily in below zero here, guys. But the next 6 to 10 days, if you're a cold weather fan, you're going to love it. If you're a warm weather fan, you're going to hate it unless you're out west here, okay? Now, what's going to end up happening over the next 8 to 14 days beyond this, the cold air is going to start to shift away a little bit towards the end of the month and first part of January. It is going to start to warm back up as we get into 2023, but to close out 2022, it is definitely going to be cold across our area here. So be prepared for that, folks. And when I tell you it's going to get cold, it's going to get nasty here. Now, let's talk about this. And I posted this first thing this morning because I think this needs as much attention as physically possible. And by the way, some of these totals that you may have saw this morning have gone down even further with the 5 p.m. update that I made with this graphic here. But this is talking about Friday morning here. Now, the biggest thing is these are not surface temperatures. These are not, expected temperatures or anything like that. These are wind chills. And a lot of people, you see this a lot in the summertime. You also see it in the wintertime, where in the summer you have your high temperature and we talk about the heat index, what the feels like temperature will be. But in the wintertime, you have your temperature and then you have your wind chills. So what's going to happen is the Arctic front's going to come through late Thursday, early Friday morning, and wind gusts could be as high as 40 to 45 miles per hour behind that front, which is going to lead to some extremely dangerous wind chills across the area. So if we see snowfall on Thursday, which I'm going to go over, by the way, as well, like I mentioned before, we got a lot of information I got to go over. But if we do see snowfall within that Monday, Thursday, Friday, Thursday time frame, and it does accumulate, stuff like that, I know the kiddos are going to be wanting to go outside, go play in it and everything like that. Make sure that they are bundled up. I mean, 3 to 4 layers, make sure they are good to go, because these are extremely dangerous wind chills coming our way as we get towards Friday morning here. And this is something that we normally do not see here in Arkansas. We don't see this at all across the state. We see this from time to time, rare events. We saw it in 2021. I believe we can go back in history. We've seen it back in, I believe, was it 2000 or something like that? So we don't see this on a normal basis like you would see it up in the Northern Plains. You see this on rare occasions. So you have to prepare for it. The pipes, you got to make sure those are good and everything like that. So just keep that in mind as we get towards Friday morning. And up there in northwestern Arkansas, I mean, boy, when I was making this map, I was just in amazement on how low these temperatures could potentially get in terms of the wind chills. It's just astonishing. Negative 33 is the potential up there in Fayetteville as a wind chill. Across the rest of the state, sub-zero across the area. Maybe down there in southeastern Arkansas, you may run into that 0-1 degree area right down there in terms of the wind chill values. Regular temperatures are going to be in the single digits to the teens across the board. Sub-zero across northern Arkansas as well here. So that's going to be the biggest thing. As I mentioned before, I'm going to get to the questions at this time. I know a lot of people are kind of wondering, is it going to be snowing and stuff like that? I feel as though the temperatures need to be talked about first before we got into the snowfall potential. Okay, now a lot of people have been asking about the wind chill as well. So what does it mean when we mean wind chill? Well, when there's no wind, it's not as bad. If you're sitting outside like in a football game or you're doing something outdoors and there's no wind but it's cold, a lot of people will tell you it's not so bad when there's no wind, but it's really bad when it's windy. So with no wind, you can actually protect yourself a lot better. Snow events, if it's 10 degrees outside with no wind, it's doable. But when you're talking 20, 30, 40 mile per hour wind gusts with temperatures that are about 5 to 10 degrees, that's when you start having wind chill problems, and that's where you can result in the potential of hypothermia. So keep that in mind. Like I mentioned before, everybody's excited about the snow, wondering about when the snow is going to fall. Don't ignore those temperatures. Those temperatures are going to be just as big of a headline as the snowfall potential here, okay? Now, let's talk about the snowfall potential across the board. Now, this is Monday's event, and then I'm going to talk to you guys about Thursday's event. And there's a lot of uncertainty going into Thursday's event here. So just kind of keep that in mind across the board. But for North Arkansas on Monday, we're talking the potential mainly snow and sleet mix up there. I'm not really expecting Monday to be a significant winter storm. It's not going to happen across the board. Yes, you will see the potential of some winter weather. Some of it could potentially cause problems, especially on the roadways, because a lot of people are going to be Christmas shopping or going in for that last week of work. Watch out for that as we get towards Monday morning. Now, in central Arkansas, I do believe you will start off as some sort of a mix. We're talking sleet, possibly some snow mixed in, but it will transition over to cold rain. Now, the biggest thing I want to stress about Monday is we're going to have to watch those temperatures, because I've seen time and time again where we were originally supposed to switch over to cold rain, but we never did because the temperatures never warmed up. So we'll watch out for that for Monday morning. Like I mentioned before, this will not be a massive winter storm in Arkansas, but prepare yourself now for those Monday morning travel headaches, especially with a little bit of winter weather we're going to get. You guys know how it is here in Arkansas. We get a little bit of winter weather, and the roads just become a nightmare. So just keep that in mind across the board if you're doing any Christmas shopping Monday morning, or you're going into work and stuff like that. Now, in South Arkansas, I'm keeping you guys a cold rain for now. I can't rule out some sleet or some snow flurries as far south as probably the Camden and Monticello area, but I think primarily for the entire event, it will probably be a cold rain down there in South Arkansas, but that depends on how low your temperatures get Sunday night and the early Monday morning here. And timing, we're talking about 7 a.m. to right around that lunch time frame here. So just keep an eye on that. I forgot to make a timing map for Monday. I'll have that information for you guys on the page after this live stream here. Now, let's talk about Thursday here. And I promise, once I get past this, I'm going to jump to computer model guidance, and I'm going to answer as many questions as I physically can here. So be patient with me, guys. A lot of people are tuning in, don't get the questions answered or leaving. Be patient with me. Patience is the best way to get me to answer your question, okay? So, Thursday, this is scenario number 1, by the way. And then I'm going to talk about scenario number 2, and then I'm going to end it, go to computer model guidance, and I'm going to answer questions here. Now, Thursday's setup is a very interesting setup. You're going to have the cold air in place, no matter how you look at it, because you're going to have an Arctic boundary coming in. Temperatures Thursday morning before the front gets here is going to be very interesting to see, because we have a cold front that's going to be pushing through the area by the time we get towards that Monday and Tuesday time frame. So Wednesday is going to be rather chilly. If we stay cloudy all day on Wednesday, we're probably going to be seeing some problems on Thursday, especially Thursday morning. If the clouds were to break on Wednesday, that could allow us to warm up a little bit, but if the clouds set in after dark Wednesday night into Thursday morning, then we'll have to wait and see on those temperatures here. But regardless, you're going to have the cold air in place. So much of central and north Arkansas is going to be primarily an all-snow event if scenario number 1 were to verify. South Arkansas is where the uncertainty is, as always. You guys know down here in South Arkansas, you know the uncertainty down there. Cold rain to a mix, and then we'll eventually transition to all the snow. I think Thursday is going to be a really good day to see snowfall here in Arkansas. Way too early to start talking significant winter storm potential or snowstorm or anything like that. Way too early for all that. But I do think the chances of you seeing snow will be much greater on Thursday versus on Monday, because Thursday you will have a lot of cold air to work with here. So if you're in South Arkansas, if you will go to scenario number 1, cold rain amidst the snow, central and north, we're talking an all-snow event here. Now, this is scenario number 2. And this is going to make a lot of people happy if you are a winter weather or snowfall fan. If this track were to go that far south, we're talking, and Andrew, if you're in this live stream, we talked about this a little bit earlier today, where the Arctic air mass will likely push this system to the south because of how impactful this Arctic air is coming in from the northwest. So what will end up happening is you'll get an area flow pressure that'll develop northeast Texas. It'll take that classic North Louisiana track, go into Mississippi, and then out. That's the Arctic air. I mean, this is some serious cold air coming in. And that's where you get the all-snow potential across the state. Like I mentioned before, everything right now in terms of winter storm potential, accumulations, is my area going to see this, my area going to see that, still uncertain right now. Okay, and I know you guys hate hearing that word, but we're about 4 to 5 days away from this event. I can't put an accumulation map out right now and 100% guarantee it's going to verify. I'd rather do it on day 2 or day 3, you guys first look, before I start doing all that stuff. But to kind of give you a scenario on what could potentially happen on Thursday, because you're going to have the cold air to work with as we get towards the day on Thursday. If this track were to verify, it would probably include much of the state. I would say from Fayetteville to Harrison, up into far northern Arkansas, I would be concerned about potential dry slotting issues up there with the track being so far south, but easily across to much of the natural state here. But if you were to go with this particular tracks further to the north, which I don't buy, with a 1053 millibar high coming out of Canada, I don't buy this track. But we'll watch it. So that would mean South Arkansas would be a cold rain to start, mitts, and then transition over to snow. And then central and north, regardless of the scenario, would favor an all-snow event. If this track is further to the north, which I don't, like I said, I don't buy right now with a massive shot of cold air coming down, then you would look at perhaps southern Missouri, North Arkansas seeing all snow, and then a cold rain to a mix to all snow across central and south. But scenario 3 right now, I don't buy it. I don't buy it right now because there's just so much cold air coming south that's going to push this system to the south no matter what happens with this event. So just something that we're going to monitor very closely as time progresses here. Now, I switched over to the southern guidance. Let's talk about questions here. So if you're still with me, you've been patient with me, we're going to answer your questions here, okay? So let me see here. James, that was a great comment. Attention to pipes, outside pets, and animals. Little Rock, all the National Service offices have been stressing this over the last couple of days here. Make sure your pipes are covered. Make sure your pets are brought inside and stuff like that, guys. You gotta make sure that is fine. I know everybody's so excited about the snowfall potential, and there's nothing wrong with that. Don't ignore those temperatures. Those temperatures are going to be brutal coming up as we get towards the later part of this upcoming week here. Okay, so let me see here. Donna, Mama Donna. The kids just asked if it's going to storm tonight. No, it's not going to storm tonight. I'm just talking about next week here in the winter weather potential here. So let me see here. Going over all the questions real quickly here. I hope we get 3 feet of snow. I doubt it with this one. We'll just have to wait and see. We'll just have to go over everything right now. Dustin or Noah, can you please block that comment? Thank you very much. Let me see here. What about school closings? Brent, if my memory is correct, I think school's already out. I don't know if it was from last week or this upcoming week or anything like that, but if my memory is correct, school's already going to be out. So we should be good to go on that. It's just watching out for that time frame here, okay? So, slippery road conditions Monday morning, yes, especially in North Arkansas. Let's talk about that real quickly with the NAM. Let's go over to the NAM real quick, and I'll show you guys that real fast here. And then I'm going to review the information here just a little bit. But if you got questions, this is the time to ask, because we've had a lot of people contact us, asking when we were going to live, and everything like that here. So I'm here to answer questions, guys, here. Now, if the NAM were to verify, by the way, you see the green area down here? 9 times out of 10, that's going to be winter weather because your cold temperatures are going to support it. So that would mean some slippery conditions across the area. I'd say the NAM were to verify, you have to watch South Arkansas too. I got a cold rain down there right now, but we'll have to wait and see what temperatures do here. But there's your winter weather potential across the board, and then it switches over to cold rain by the end of the day. We'll see. Let's take a look at the GFS. GFS has been doing a consistent job with that Monday time frame here, so it should be popping up here in just a little bit. There it is. So this is what it's wanting to do, by the way. So this is Monday morning. Light snow across the board. This would cause some travel issues across the area. You guys know how Arkansas is on first thing in the morning with winter weather, so watch out for that. And then you switch over to a cold rain, and then that's it, okay? Now, this is what's concerning me right here going into Wednesday. Notice something. There's your 540 millibar line. There's your 546 millibar line. So if you're a weather enthusiast, you know what the 540 millibar line is. If you're not, I'll explain it to you real quick. The 540 line is the difference between a rain and snow, depending on, you know, other parameters and stuff like that. But this is normally your rain-snow line. This is Wednesday afternoon at 3 p.m. So you're pretty cold across the state. You got a cold front that's going to move through Monday and Tuesday. So you're pretty cold. Temperatures hovering around freezing in North Arkansas, 30s across central, near 50 in South Arkansas. And then you notice what happens. And this is what's concerning me right here. This is during the day on Thursday. Temperatures in the upper 30s, low 40s, near 50 degrees. This would support some rainfall down here in central and South Arkansas. We shall see what ends up happening with that. If temperatures are a lot colder, then we'll see. But then you see that cold air coming in. I mean, it just rapidly comes into the state as we get towards Thursday night and Friday here. And this is Friday morning's potential overnight lows. Not talking about wind chills or anything like that. These are lows potentially. Negatives all the way in western Arkansas, single digits across the area. And then you're talking about the potential of snow cover, potentially bringing these temperatures down even more. So definitely something that we're going to have to watch here. Okay, so Blaine, I'm going to address this real quick because I know there's a lot of weather apps that are saying 0 for Russellville on Thursday. Why is it showing that and everything like that? The biggest thing with weather apps is it goes off of raw computer model data. If one model doesn't have it, it's going to put it at a 0. But if a model has it, it's going to put it at 60 or 80 or 100. Everything you see here at Arkansas Weather Watchers comes from up here. We don't associate anything with raw computer model data or anything like that. Everything you see here, it's us basically taking all that data that the weather app is showing you and breaking it down and saying, hey, this is the potential setup. This is the better setup. This is what we're looking at here. Weather apps, we hear it all the time. They'll have 0%, we'll have 60. And it ends up being the 60 because we've actually broken everything down. So keep that in mind. Like I mentioned before, the weather apps are not going to show Thursday or Monday or anything like that because they don't show it until it's like 12 to 24 hours out. And there's actually been some cases where it doesn't even show up until, oh, hey, you've got snow coming. It's like 5 minutes away. So that's the biggest thing here. Yeah, February 21 all over again. The biggest thing is I don't know if it got this cold in 21. I don't know if it got this cold. I was talking to Andrew about that too when we were trying to compare between this upcoming event and February 2021. I don't remember it getting this cold. It may have, but I mean, man, this is some serious cold air coming away as we get towards that time from here. Okay, so Olivia, I'm gonna make this 100% clear for everybody that's tuning in because I know everybody's hearing snow and it's causing a lot of craziness right now. This is for Monday and Thursday. This is not for just either or day. This is Monday and Thursday. Potentially Christmas Eve. We'll talk more about that once we get a little closer. But this is for both days. We're looking at both days right now here. Monday is going to be a lesser event versus Thursday because Monday you don't have a lot of cold air to work with. But Thursday is going to be the bigger day across the board here. But yes, I'm not worried about schools or anything like that. Martha, great point. Well, not great point. Great question. Could we see some freezing rain? Monday, we'll see. Thursday, I doubt it. Because you're gonna have all that cold air surging south. If you experience it on Thursday, it may be for a brief period before you rapidly transition over to snow. But I'm not expecting any sort of freezing rain potential with this setup here. As a matter of fact, let's take a look at this. So this is the GFS, by the way. And I know the GFS has just been the number one thing everyone's talked about. And I'm going to talk about the Euro, and I'm going to talk about the other models here. But you can see what happens. There's your storm system coming out from the northwest, coming through eastern Oklahoma, and it makes its way into western Arkansas. See that darker purple right in there? That's where you're going to have that heavy snow potential here. And I'm going to be honest with you. If the GFS were to verify, here's your Cape. You're talking 10 to 15. You could see some thunder snow out of this if that were to take place. Remember, it's one model. One model. It's not, the end-all, be-all of what's going to happen. It's just one model. I'm going to show the Euro and the others in just a little bit. I'm just trying to get to all the questions right now here. Okay, now a lot of people are asking about specific cities and counties. Biggest thing is everyone's saying, tell me about this, tell me about that. I can't tell you specific minute by minute on what's going to happen because you're day 4 or day 5 away. Right now we're in pattern recognition mode. Basically, we're seeing what's coming up. We see the cold air. We see everything in place. And we're telling you guys about it now. All those sweet details that you guys are looking for, that's going to come in place as we get towards late next week. Not late next week. Early to mid next week. Probably that Monday and Tuesday time frame here. Okay, so Facebook isn't notifying me. I hate Facebook so much. I hate it so much. It's not notifying me when you guys go live. What did I miss? Basically, Preston, we're just talking about the cold air and the winter weather coming our way as we get towards this upcoming week here. So, what is Thursday looking like for traveling? Northwestern Arkansas, I wouldn't recommend it. I would not even recommend it. I'm going to tell you what's going to happen if this happens. You know how it is in Arkansas when you even get a little bit of snow. I wouldn't even recommend it across the board. But we'll see. Like I said before, things can change between now and then. Let's take a look at the Euro, okay? And I know the Euro's not going to be everybody's best friend in terms of snowfall potential, but let's take a look at the Euro because you have to look at it when you're forecasting winter weather. First off, there's Monday up there in northwestern Arkansas. I don't buy that. I do not buy that. I think it's going to be end up further to the south and east from there, but we'll see. There's the Euro, okay? There's Wednesday. Now, notice something here. Another thing, the Euro is much warmer than the GFS. And if you paid attention to the 2021 event, February, the Euro struggled a lot. It was not a good model to use back then because it does not handle true Arctic air mass as well at all. It does a horrible job with it. So the European model right now is kind of the outlier at this point. You have to take it into consideration because it could potentially happen. Strange things can happen here in Arkansas. But let's take a look at it, okay? Here it is on Thursday. First of all, your low is way to the north. I don't buy that. If you have a surging Arctic air mass coming out of Canada, it's going to push this south. No matter what's going to happen, it's going to push it south. But anyways, there's your snow in Missouri, southeastern Kansas, northeastern Oklahoma, northwestern Arkansas, and then it moves through here. Now, like I mentioned before, it still has it. It still has snow. But it's light. It's very light with the snow, and then it's out of here. Very cold air coming in. This is a This is a 498 millibar line. That is sub-zero air coming in across the board. So, like I mentioned before, everybody's wanting to know about the snowfall. Don't know those temperatures. Those temperatures are going to be brutal across the year here. Okay, so in February 2021, it got down to -9 in the Conway area here, okay? So, all right, so that was the biggest thing. I couldn't remember. Cam, thank you for confirming that to me. But, yeah, February 2021 was quite cold. I would say with this coming up event, I don't know. If you get some clear skies late Thursday night and a Friday morning with a snowpack, these temperatures are going to be overdone. That's going to be the biggest thing you have to watch out for here. So, let me see here. Let me go over the comments real fast here, okay? So, let me see here. Okay, Mark, great question with that. With the snow and the wind, blizzard conditions, really hard to get down this far south. The biggest thing with that, you have to get 35-mile-per-hour wind gusts sustained over an area. You have to get it sustained throughout the entire day. And I think the majority of your winds is going to come after your snowfall is already passed. So I'm ruling that out right now, but we shall see what happens across the board. But that was a good question here. Michael, great comment with that as well. Let's say the GFS verifies. Let's say it 100% does well. It just verifies and everything like that. Winter Storm Watch will probably come out on Tuesday. I think we'll have a better handle on what's going to happen by that point. But in a normal situation, it would be that Tuesday. It would be 2 to 3 days, especially with Christmas travel and all that other stuff. It'll be Tuesday. That does not mean somebody's going to hear that and just go, oh, hey, we're going to have Winter Storm Watch Tuesday. It's going to happen. No. Let me debunk that right now. I'm just saying, if GFS were to verify, it would be Tuesday because they normally do it 48 to 72 hours in advance once we get a solid hold on what's going on here. I love seeing the Euro caving to the GFS here, but I still think it's underdoing it here. I don't buy it being that far north, especially with an air mass coming in this strong. I have heard the expression, go back to Pam real quick. I've heard the expression of being too cold for snow. In a situation that can happen, Pam, it's not so much as temperature, it's so much as the dry air. You've seen us talk about it, and Cam, we talked about this right out of the gate when I saw this massive air mass coming in with the computer model guidance. And I told you, the first thing I told you, I said, you've got too much Arctic air, and it's going to push this south, and Arkansas is going to miss it. Well, the biggest thing is, what we've seen is this cold air is lagging. It's not coming down very fast as I was originally thinking. So, in some cases, I guess that expression could be true, but it's not so much as the temperature. It's just so much as the air mass. What kind of air mass are you dealing with? Are you dealing with a Canadian air mass or a true Arctic air mass coming straight down from the Arctic? That kind of air mass. You're talking about the single digits and the sub-zero temperatures. That type of air mass. Because normally that type of air mass is dry. And that's why you hear that expression, it's too cold for snow here. But yeah, that was a great question, by the way. It's kind of a mix between the yes and the no across the board. Like I said before, a lot of people are asking about travel. If I don't get to your question right now, message us. We'll try to get to you guys as quick as we can about this here. But right now, I would say, even if the European model were to verify, I said before, I'm having a hard time believing the euro right now with this here, because it struggled in 2021. It's going to struggle with this one. It does not handle true Arctic cold air masses like this very well. It just doesn't. So let's say the euro verifies. Let's take a look at potential, by the way, snowfall totals. And I want to stress potential right now, because you're still over 100 plus hours away and stuff like that. This will change. But look at the euro. Not much in the way of snowfall potential. You get a little bit of burst of snow, and then it's cold. We'll see about that. I don't buy it. I don't buy it right now. It's the outlier for a reason. Now let's say the GFS were to verify. You're talking about an awesome snow event. You're talking almost a half a foot to even, in some cases, in northeastern Oklahoma, up to a foot of snow. So, blending the two right now, and this is going to go back to my favorite model, the NBM. I love using the NBM because it combines everything into one, and it makes our lives a lot easier if you're trying to forecast it. But let's say, by the way, there's Monday, so that would cause issues here in Little Rock. I already know it. But let's take this out to here. Okay, so this is the NBM right now here. So this is combining all your computer models into one. Obviously, North Arkansas, 2 to 4, 1 to 2 here, and then less than a half an inch down here in Southern Arkansas. That's a good swath across the board. Why am I concerned about snowfall totals being that low? And to answer your question, Amy, if that happens on Thursday, your temperature is going to rapidly fall. It's going to get below freezing, and you can stay below freezing all the way till Christmas, which means travel is just going to be a nightmare. It's just, I wouldn't even bother with travel at that point. So, stay with us. I would say Monday, probably first thing in the morning on Monday, we're going to have a lot of travel graphics on the page. Don't let those graphics go unnoticed. Share them, talk about them, and stuff like that, because that's going to help out a lot of people that are going to be traveling into the state for Christmas here. So something that we'll watch very, very closely here. Okay, so let me see here if I can pull that up. Stacy, I'm going to get back to your comment in just a little bit. Hope it doesn't snow very much in southeastern Missouri. I hate to tell you this, but you're going to be the favorite area. Even if Arkansas misses it completely, you're going to be the favorite area up there in southeastern Missouri here. So back to your comment, Stacy. I appreciate you going over the scenarios, especially the models. This is why I started watching in 2021 during the snow event and never went anywhere else for weather. I appreciate that so much, Stacy. It really, really makes me feel just awesome. So let me see here. Thunder and lightning during the snowstorm is awesome across the board. Yeah, so I completely missed the ball with February 2021. My memory just went woo with that. So thank y'all for clarifying that. Let's see if this will either challenge it or it will get colder. Wind chills definitely will get colder, but we'll see what across the board here. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about the number one thing everyone's worried about is the potential of a white Christmas here. Now, remember what I told you guys at the beginning of a live stream 2 days ago? 3 days ago? 2 days ago? Somebody in the comments let me know. But anyways, I told you guys at the beginning of the live stream a couple days ago that those temperatures Thursday through Christmas are going to be below freezing. If that happens, and there's so much that goes into that particular question about the White Christmas, because you're below freezing. It just depends on what type of snow you get. If it's that dry, powdery snow, what we saw in February 2021, you guys know how long that snow lasted. It took 3 weeks, multiple rain events, and a big warm-up to get rid of all that snow. That's what happens when you have dry, powdery snow. It does not go away fast. If you have the wet snow, with it being below freezing, it's going to be just as hard because it compacts and it turns to ice. So, in terms of the White Christmas potential, I'm going to put it like this. I'm going to be blunt about it. If you see winter weather, if you see accumulating snowfall on Thursday, congratulations, you got yourself set up for White Christmas. Just going to put it straightforward right there. If you see a good amount of accumulating snow on Thursday, you got yourself a White Christmas, because it ain't going nowhere. Because temperatures are going to be below freezing, teens and 20s, even with the sun angle and the radiation. Given that we're in late December, your sun angle is extremely low, so it's not going to melt. If you see accumulating snowfall on Thursday, I'd say it's going to be a good bet that you're going to see a White Christmas, because it ain't going to go anywhere by that point here. Okay, so David, 15 to 20 inches of snow. Goodness, I don't even know what Northwest Arkansas would even do with all that here. But follow the GFS here, but at 25 to 130 ratio, 35 mile per hour winds. Dad, I'm gonna challenge you with that one. If that happens, I'm coming straight to you, David. I'm gonna come straight to you and see if that happens. But I do give you credit where credit's due. That GFS did excellent with that February 2021 event, and I remember it. It got trashed so much on social media. Everybody was saying it was hype, it wasn't gonna happen, blah blah blah, and it ended up being right. It ended up happening. So we shall see. But we're back in that crossroads once again where we were in February 2021, where the GFS was painting this, and Euro was painting nothing. And we all know what happened at that point. I don't like comparing two events to one, but we shall see what happens at that given point here, okay? So, Hot Springs doesn't get snow that often. We're overdue for a freaking blizzard. I'm going to tell you guys this right now. Let's say the GFS verifies. Let's play scenarios real quick, okay? I'm gonna debunk the blizzard talk real fast here. So, let's say the GFS were to verify. Goodness gracious, that is some brutal wind coming in Thursday night and Friday. That's why your wind chills are going to be so dangerous. Matter of fact, before I get into what I was getting ready to say, don't be shocked if you see wind chill watches and warnings coming up Tuesday to Wednesday with that. But back to what I was saying. Let's time this at this point. So this is 9 p.m. on Thursday. Let's play a scenario. See GFS were to verify. Let's go your precipitation type. Notice how your 30 to 40 mile per hour winds are back here, right? On the western side of Arkansas. If you get that to sustain for more than 3 hours, it has to sustain for more than 3 hours, then you start talking about that potential. Right now, the blizzard potential and all that, those questions don't get answered until like day 1 or day 2. So I'm not expecting it. But those winds, you're talking 40 to 45 mile per hour winds. Those are non-thunderstorm winds, by the way. And somebody asked me earlier if I can ever go back to that comment about power outages. I'm going to be honest with you. With the GFS were to verify, if it's wet snow and you have 40 to 45 mile per hour wind gusts, then yeah, I can see how power outages would happen here. Also, let's take a look at the Canadian while we're at it. By the way, I'm not even going to look at the Canadian's temperature here. Now, the Canadian's taking more of a blend between the GFS and Euro. It's come further south where it was before. I still think the GFS is going to take this home. I think the GFS is going to take this home at this point. But it does have the general idea. Your 540 line down here in South Arkansas, this would be all snow across the board. Even if it's green, it's behind that blue line, so it would be all snow. Heavy snow up here in northern Arkansas. This is Thursday afternoon, by the way, at 3 o'clock. And then it shifts out of the state. Temperatures are just brutal. I mean, guys, I know I sound like a broken record with those temperatures, boy, but goodness, that's going to be some cold air coming south here. Now, notice something. North Arkansas, Missouri, Southeast Kansas, Oklahoma takes the majority of this. Arkansas, we get a little bit of snow, and that's it. I don't buy that. I don't buy that at this point. I'm probably going to die on that hill. But the GFS is going to be the one you need to watch, because it did the same exact thing back in 2021 here, where all the people on the guy that struggled with the cold air, it struggled with it. It didn't initialize it well. GFS was the only one, as much as it was getting mocked, it was the only one, and we all know what happened. I don't like comparing the two, but we shall see what happens at that point here. Okay, so what model guys do you tend to lean on? Gabe, it depends. That's a great question. No model guidance should be used 100% when you're doing the forecast. That's why I tell you guys all the time about those weather apps. Those weather apps use this particular model guidance 100%. We don't do that here at Arkansas Weather Watchers. We break everything down, and then we forecast it off of experience, off of analogs, all the other good stuff. You should see us during the forecast. It's pretty nerve-wracking. But anyways, that's what we mean. So in terms of model guidance, to answer your question, Gabe, it's going to be none. I don't trust any, but I would say every situation is different. Every scenario is different. Severe weather, winter weather, tropical weather, every scenario is different. You just have to go off of what's happened in the past and try to lean on which model has the better solution and what makes more sense versus what the other models are saying. So no guidance should be used 100%, but that's going to be the biggest thing. Cam, yeah, I know. I saw the GFS here, and that's the interesting thing with this. You give me a powerful storm system with this cold air, we could be talking at this point. Okay, so thank you for that comment. Love you too. I do appreciate that comment so much here. So, yeah, so that's the biggest thing here. Kevin, yeah, I know. That's a 10-to-1 ratio. Thank you for that, by the way. I'm going to do this here real fast here. So let me switch over to here, and we're going to take a look at something real quick. So this is weather.cod, and I'm going to show you guys that real fast here. So yeah, this is using a 10-to-1 ratio, by the way. Thank you for that, Kevin, for reminding me about that here, because what's going to happen with the cold air, you have to make sure and see what your ratios are going to be. So when we talk snow ratios, here's what we mean about snow ratios. We talk about snow ratios is the definition of it is how much water will it take to get 1 inch of snow. Okay, so let's take a look at Monday. Let's take a look at Monday while we're here. Okay, your ratios would be 5 to 6 to 7 across the board for the GFS Weather Verified. That would mean it'd be a wet snow, because the lower your ratios are, the wetter the snowflakes are going to be. But the bigger your snowflake and the bigger your ratios are, you start talking to 15 to 20 to 25. That's where you have that dry, powdery snow that accumulates extremely easy. So this would be a wet, heavy snow on Monday morning if it were to verify with the GFS. And then you see here, let's take this out all the way to Thursday evening. Northwestern Arkansas, 26.1 out of 1. So that'd be your snow ratio, which means, and I believe the GFS, like I said before, let's do this. Let's take advantage of that. There's your new snowfall totals across the board. That's something that's, and thank you, Kevin, for mentioning that. I really do appreciate that. So basically, what you saw on here, let's go back over to your snowfall totals in here with the 10-to-1 ratio, by the way. That's a 10-to-1 ratio. You notice it's 4 to 5 inches of snow across the board. Not much. Well, not much. About a half a foot of snow over here in northwestern Arkansas. You go with this one, it's so much higher because it's accounting for your specific ratio. If your ratios are 25, 26 up here in northwest Arkansas, you'll get a foot of snow. And it'll be a foot of dry snow. But in central Arkansas, where your snow will be a lot heavier and wetter because your ratios are a lot lower, that's where you see the 5 to 6 to 7. It's much lower, but it's the heavy snow that's going to be falling here. So, Kevin, thank you. Like I said, thank you so much for letting me know about that, man. I totally forgot about the whole ratio potential here. So if you covered it already, my apologies. But do you think models are placed in the system? Yeah, Andy, I was just talking about that. I do believe they're placing it too far north. I do believe they're placing it too far north, especially the freaking Euro. The Euro it does excellent. I love it during severe events, and tropical weather, but it is not the model to use when you're trying to figure out winter weather across the board here. Okay, so yes, this is for Arkansas. For those that are wondering, that wind is the worst. Yeah, I know. That's the biggest thing. We had some wind today. Botched my entire forecast of today. We had 15 to 20 mile per hour wind gusts across the board. So let me see. Yeah, there it is. Northwest flow, 25 to 1 ratio, 30 to 1 ratios with temperatures. With those temperatures, higher snow amounts. I agree. And that's what I was saying with Kevin making that comment a second ago. I agree. If your ratios are much higher, like I mentioned before, Northwest Arkansas, you could see a foot of snow out of this if it's a dry snow across the board, with those ratios being super high across the area here. Okay, so let me see here. Yeah, the 540 line is a rough idea, but it's not a guarantee. That's the biggest thing. It's just a rough idea on where the rain and snow line is. Like I mentioned before, the 540 line is like the parameters has to match up to make sure you get snow. It's just it's like one step. You have that, you're behind the line, that's one step done, but you have to make sure your parameters are matching up to that here. Okay, so let me see here. Yeah, I agree, Vicky. We'll have to watch that across the board in terms of the power outage potential. Right now, we'll see. Let me take a look. Let's take a look at the Euro real quick. So I want to make sure it's not just the GFS showing those wind gusts here, but I mean, boy, look at there. Even with the European model, look at there. 30 to 40 mile per hour wind gusts, could be some locally higher wind gusts across the area here. So this is some serious wind coming in behind this front. There's your front. You can't mistake it at all. Coming into eastern Arkansas, winds coming out of the northwest, 40 to 45 miles per hour. Sustained winds, let's take a look at your sustained winds, 15 to 20 across the board. Could be some higher over here in eastern Arkansas. So we shall see across the area here. The GFS verifying is like winning the lottery. Like I mentioned before, as much as you get mocked on and everything like that, it did excellent with that February 2021 event here. So we shall see what happens with that one here. Okay, so yeah, I'd be more worried if it was a wet snow versus a dry snow, because dry snow doesn't cause a lot of power outages, where the wet snow accumulates to the the power lines, weighs them down, and plus if you get this type of wind, that's where it could potentially have the that power outage issue here. But we'll address more about that once we get closer to that day 2, day 3 time frame here. Because I want to make sure Guyanus is not overdoing these winds here. But if they're not, you might want to look out coming up on Thursday here. Okay, so good question for Thursday. It depends, because we've got a front that's going to come in Monday and a Tuesday. I want to see how temperatures are going to rebound at Wednesday and Thursday time frame. Initially, we could see some rainfall with this. We'll see. Let's see let's take a look at this. This is going to be the Euro, and this is why I like using this product. I believe it will allow me to, and of course it's not going to let me do it. Give me 1 second here. Let me see if I can break this down. There it is. Alright, so this is total precipitation by type. So basically, if the Euro were to verify, you're talking about 1/4 of an inch to 1/2 inch of rainfall across the board. Higher totals across Louisiana, and then also this is your snow, like I said before. This breaks all of the accumulations down into one. So we'll see. It just depends on what happens. I wouldn't rule it out initially. And I know what would happen on Thursday. We have winter storm warnings out, and everybody was starting to see rain. And they're like, where's the snow? Give it time. Let the cold air come in and stuff like that, and it'll change over. But yeah, I could see it initially. It just depends on what happens across the board here. But I'll be very curious to see what happens with those temperatures Wednesday and Thursday. Let's see how much we rebound. But I could see us getting rainfall, especially initially across the area here. Okay, so Kevin, I see your comment. Thank you for that. Let me see here. Okay, so okay, so a little on Monday, up in the air about how much on Thursday. That's basically summing it up right now here. Monday, we'll see. We'll have to wait and see, because Monday, the problem is on Mondays you've got southeast winds flowing into the state. So your temperatures are going to naturally warm up on Monday. That's why I was saying, if you see anything Monday morning, it's going to transition rapidly throughout the day. I'll watch North Arkansas closely, but it's just going to be a nightmare Monday morning. and then Monday afternoon, Monday evening, it should transition over to an all-rain event across mainly central and in the South Arkansas here. Vicky, love that, by the way. Make sure you have a game plan for the heat. These temperatures are not going to be anything you want to mess around with across the board. That's something that we'll have to watch out very, very closely here across the area. All right, this is the Euro. Like I mentioned before, I feel like the Euro's too far north. I feel like it's too far north here. Everybody's asking me about timing. That's the biggest thing. I know it's the holiday week. Everybody's trying to come home for Christmas. I understand. Timing right now is going to be very uncertain because of how far out we are. We're still 100+ hours away from any winter weather potential on Thursday. And I know a lot of people got family coming home as well. Biggest thing is monitor our page for updates. Right now, if I gave you a specific timing, it wouldn't verify because you're just so far away. You're 100+ hours out. So that's the biggest thing here. But stay with us. We're going to try to get those time maps out as early as we can, but we want to be accurate with it as well here. But right now, I'd say Thursday afternoon, Thursday evening, Thursday night will be the time frame here. But specific minute by minute, hour by hour timing, I can't do that right now without me being less than 100% accurate with that here. Okay, so yeah, David, yeah, I agree, man. I'm gonna come back to you, by the way, if this happens, because you're calling it up there in northwestern Arkansas. So I'm gonna put that bet down, and we're gonna see what happens after Christmas. And like I said before, I'm not saying you're gonna be wrong, but we're gonna watch it. Let's see what happens across the board here. Okay, so what's your percentages of snow across the state at this point? I think across the area on Thursday, as much as I've seen with computer model guidance, I'd go with a 60 to 70% across the board. Obviously the Euro, you got to take the Euro accountability. As much as it's too far north with the doggone low, you got to take an accountability, so you can't go 100. The GFS has been real aggressive with Thursday. I mean, it's been a brick wall with Thursday. It has not changed. It's changed a little bit from here and there, a little bit of spurts, but the main trend has been snow on Thursday. So you can't ignore the GFS right now. The Canadian model is starting to trend as well. The ensembles, which I haven't talked about much in this live stream, the ensembles are starting to come in as well. Let's take a look at that, by the way. And this is going to be the EPS, if I can go back to it. Give me 1 second. There it is. All right, so this is going to be the EPS. Let's take a look at that. Let's see what it wants to do. This is the European model ensemble, by the way. And let's see what's to do for. Let's take a look at Monday. It ain't gonna do squat for Monday. I can already tell you. Yeah, up there in northwestern Arkansas. So we shall see about that. If that trend holds, I may go and redo Monday's forecast, but I'm leaving the door open right now to see what ends up happening here. Okay, and then there it is. So it's kind of following along when it's operational right now. It still has the snowfall, but the majority is in Missouri, which it's too far north for that low. It's way too far north for that low here. But regardless, it has those colder temperatures coming in as we get towards late next week here. So something that we'll just have to monitor very closely. I'll let you know on that on Monday. To answer your question, I'll let you know on that on Monday. When will we be live? Again, it's probably going to be, if not tomorrow night, Monday. Monday will probably be the best time to do it because we'll have more information. We'll be able to look at everything a lot deeper on Monday here. But it doesn't mean we're not going to have anything on the page, because I know Facebook's not sending notifications out. So make sure you're manually coming in the page, checking for information, stuff like that, especially if you've got folks coming into Arkansas this upcoming week here. So let me see here. We'll talk after the live stream. Sounds good to me. Let me see here. Yeah, I know he should join our weather chat. Oh yeah, as long as we don't we don't run him out of that weather chat. Yeah, he should join. He sounds like a really good guy to talk about with that. But let me see here. I think that is all of the questions so far. Sarah, I see yours. Will the power outages be like 2000? No, because in 2000 you had a massive ice storm. This is going to be a snow event. If you see ice with this, it's going to be a very brief transition over to freezing rain and sleet, and then it'll go rapidly to snow because you've got crashing 850, 925 millibar temperatures coming in, stuff like that. So it's not going to be a massive ice storm here. Now, further to the south in Louisiana, we'll see. Depends on how fast the cold air comes in. But in Arkansas, no. I don't think you're going to see that ice here in the natural state here. Maybe a little bit on the onset before it transitions over, but I just don't think you're going to see a lot of ice with this upcoming event here. I'm late. Please tell me if Cersei's going to see anything and when. Like I mentioned before, I can't go over specific minute by minute, hour by hour timing. I'm not trying to be rude about it or bash anybody about it or anything like that. It's just I can't. I can't do it. I know how as much frustrating as that sounds, I can't do it. Because if I give you a specific timing on when it's going to happen, and then it doesn't happen, you're going to be upset with me. So that's the biggest thing, especially with Christmas, everybody coming home, everyone's trying to plan around that timing. I want to be accurate with it. So I say by Monday, we should have a better handle on what we're looking at with timing. But right now, I just can't do it. I can't do it across the board here at this point here. It's just, it wouldn't be right for me to do it right now here with me having to change the timing over and over and over and over again. So let me see here. That means that I'm going to have to insulate my natural gas line here so it doesn't freeze. I know a lot of people had that problem back in 21 when we had that event here. And like I mentioned before, you don't see this every day. This is something that you see up here in the Dakotas and up here in Minnesota and everything like that here. So I'm going to go back over the graphic here that you guys saw. I'm going to leave this up for just a little bit because that's the biggest thing I want to talk about is the wind chills. They're going to be brutal across the board. Kevin, as much as, and by the way, if he's in the comments critiquing, he's not critiquing. He's a meteorologist. He's one of my best buddies. I come to him for advice, so he's always making sure that I'm on par with my stuff. So don't give him a hard time in the comments. But anyways, he's forecasting this. I don't like forecasting this right now. I don't. I was making this map earlier, and I felt like I was like, man, this can't be right. There's no way it can get that low. But with 40 to 45 mile per hour winds, and also with temperatures being in the single digits, low teens, I could see that. So that's going to be the biggest thing across the board here. So yeah, tomorrow, guys, I'm going to tell you this now. Whatever y'all got to do it this weekend. I told Derek the same thing. Whatever you got to do it this weekend. Because this upcoming week is going to be chaotic. You're going to have people's Christmas shopping. You're going to have people potentially shopping for this upcoming winter weather event. This week's not going to be a good week, but we'll get through it. You guys know we'll get through it across the board here, okay? So, yeah, it's going to be too cold to play in the snow. That's the thing, Jeanette. We were talking about that earlier in the live stream where we were concerned, about the kiddos. They're going to be wanting to get outside, get out and do this, do that. Make sure you're bundled up. Make sure you're good to go because these wind chills, if you don't have any protection, can cause some serious issues here. So, let me see here. Yeah, we got lucky on the tornadoes here. Fortunately, we won't have to talk about severe weather for a while. This type of cold air likes to get in the Gulf. It likes to cool the Gulf down and stuff like that. So that should put it in to the severe weather threats for a little while until we start getting into, January, February, and stuff like that here. But that's going to be the biggest thing here. So, let me see here. Northwestern Arkansas for Monday, 1 to 3 inches of snow up there, depending on temperatures here. That's going to be the biggest thing up there. I do think your area is going to be at the higher area to see the accumulations, especially higher elevations. Central Arkansas, I'd go by 1/2 inch because of onset. You guys, if you live here in Little Rock, you know what I mean about winter weather, how it can get crazy. So just watch out for that Monday morning, but it should transition over to rainfall by the afternoon here. Okay, so why are news stations saying 5 to 10 miles per hour on Friday? I don't know why. No idea why. I think the winds are going to calm down during the day on Friday. Let's take a look at this because everybody likes using the NBM, which does include me. So we'll see. We'll see. There's your wind gust. This is the NBM, by the way, which is a combination of all your computer model guidance into one. 30 to 40 mile per hour wind gust. I don't see it being 5 to 10 miles per hour. You've got a pressure gradient coming in. You're going to be talking 20 to 30 mile per hour wind gusts with this, guys. And this is not one particular model. This is all the models combined into one. And it's still suggesting the 20 to 30 mile per hour wind gusts here. Okay, so let me see here. If y'all have any more questions, let me know. If y'all don't, then that's fine. I'll try to get you guys as quick as I can here. So, what's it going to look like in the southern part of the state, El Dorado specifically? Down there in South Arkansas, you hear it all the time about North Central Arkansas taking the snow, but South Arkansas doesn't really get talked about. I do believe you will see snowfall on Thursday. Monday morning, watch out for some onset snow or sleet. I don't think it's going to be a massive winter storm or anything like that, but it should transition over to cold rain by the afternoon. Thursday, you're going to have a crashing cold front coming in. As a matter of fact, let's do this. Let's take a look at the... I'll use GFS. I'll just use GFS, and we'll go from there, okay? By the way, you better pray that GFS doesn't verify for these temperatures. These are daytime highs, by the way. Kevin, I don't know if you're seeing that. David, I don't know if you're seeing that. That is some insane cold air. That is insane. There's Friday night, by the way. But get back what we were talking about, Amanda. There's your cold front coming in. 32 to 14. That's insane, folks. That is absolutely insane. But anyways, so basically on Thursday, you would start off as a little bit of rain, transition over to snow, and then you get cold after that point here. So this is going to be something that we'll have to watch out closely. Kev, I need your opinion, if you're still here. Flash freeze potential. Because I could see that happening, but temperatures being in the 40s and 50s, especially if you get rain on the onset on Thursday, I could see a flash freeze potential being possible with your front of boundary coming in here. If you're still in the chat, just let me know. If you're not, I'll message you about it later on. But let me see here. Okay, so Indiana up there from YouTube. This is from West on our YouTube side here. Can you check out Indiana? You guys are going to be just as cold as we are, if not any colder, up there in Indiana. Let's take a look at that real quick. You're talking about temperatures up here in the single digits, potentially some negatives, some sub-zero temperatures up there in the Indiana area, and you're going to see snowfall as well. This is going to include not only our area here in Arkansas, but Missouri, up into the Ohio Valley as well. So I think you guys will see some snowfall across the board here. So Stephanie, it will probably be Monday if I can get back on Sunday. I do have a lot of plans on Sunday. We've got a lot of stuff going on with Christmas. I'm just trying to get all that stuff done this weekend before the weather starts getting active. So Sunday is going to be more of a personal day for me. But if I can get back in the weather center by, I say Sunday evening around 7, 8 o'clock, I may try to squeeze a live stream out. If I don't do it on Sunday, it's going to be on Monday here. So that's something that I'll let you guys know on. But yeah, Sunday, throughout much of the day on Sunday, and we'll be kind of spending time with, family and stuff like that, a little personal time. I'll get with you guys. If I don't get you guys Sunday night, it'll be definitely on Monday here. Okay, so let me see here. I think that is it in terms of all the questions here. Faith, I saw I'm going to have to catch the replay. I missed all the snowfall totals. So, Faith, I hadn't even talked about snowfall totals. It's too early. You're talking day 4, day 5 right now. Let's do this. Let's since everyone wants to know about snowfall totals, let's do this. Okay, this is going to blend every piece of data that you have into one, and keep this in mind. This is a 10-to-1 ratio. What we mean by a 10-to-1 ratio is that's your average, that's your solid base. If your ratios are much higher, especially northwest Arkansas, you could be talking much higher snowfall totals. So keep this in mind. Yes, it's looking about 1 to 3 inches of snow. It's going to go higher than this if your ratios are higher. So keep that in mind, Faith. I know everybody's wanting to know about snowfall totals. I can't do it right now. In good conscience, I couldn't do it right now because I would have to go back and change it a million times before we got to the actual event. I'd rather give it to you guys on Monday where everybody's kind of paying attention and give it to you guys and make sure it's, at least good amount of accuracy on it versus giving it to you guys on Saturday where we're still 5 to 6 days away and it could change a million times before we get there. So I hope I hope that answered your question and stuff like that here. But I haven't gone over any snowfall totals right now here. It's way, 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 way too early right now to start talking about that. So, okay, all right, good comment, Kevin. I thank you for that. Like I said before, he's a meteorologist. I come to him for a lot of advice here. So the flash freeze will be mitigated by the wind, but the snow potential would aid in the potential. So it would kind of be one of those almost like canceling each other out, if it makes sense, where you have the wind coming in 40 to 45 miles per hour, but you have the snowfall coming in as well. So it would kind of, I would dare say, almost cancel each other out, because I forgot the flash freeze. You have to have winds that has to be, I think, 5 to 10 miles per hour, relatively calm, not screaming at you at 40 to 45. So that's what I mean here. That would be something that we would have to watch. But yeah, that's incredible, man. 32 degrees in El Dorado to 14 in DeQueen. That is some incredible cold air coming in as we get towards the time here. So, Tina, to answer your question about the flash freeze, and I mentioned before, I was talking to Kevin about it because we were just watching it. Basically, when you see an air mass that changes, let's go to the NBM real quick. When you see an air mass that changes this fast, and if it's going to load up for me, there's Thursday. Also, one more thing, notice your temperatures with the NBM. They're a lot colder than your other models, so watch that close. But anyways, you're basically going from 44 degrees to 17 in a short period amount of time. Like Kevin said, you have to make sure your winds are pretty calm to establish the flash freeze potential, because the wind would mitigate it, would basically cancel it out. But basically what would happen is you would go from 44, 45 degrees to 17. I'm just using El Dorado for example. You'll go straight to 17 in a short period amount of time. That's like a 3 to 4 hour span. That's how you get flash freeze. Basically anything that has water or any kind of liquid or anything like that on the sidewalks or on the roads or anything like that would instantly freeze. That's what we mean by flash freeze, because it happens so quick, because you're basically going from the 40s all the way into the teens in a short period amount of time, instead of gradually falling like you would normally see in a normal front boundary. So let me see here. Yeah, flash freeze. I've been calling one. Yeah, definitely. You never want to be on the roadways when that stuff happens, because your roadways quickly become just straight trash once it becomes here. So they're saying rainy snow for Central Arkansas on Monday and Thursday. Like I mentioned before, Monday I can see it, and I can see it being rain and snow transitioning over to rain. Thursday, I think you're going to get a brief period of rainfall. You better hope that the NBM doesn't verify, because you're talking temperatures near 32 degrees already pre-front. Before the front even gets here, you're already at 32, 33, 34, 35 degrees. So you have to watch that. But the biggest thing is you would see some rainfall on the onset, and then you would quickly transition over to snowfall. So I'd say 60 to 70 across the board for snow. The 20%, that's it would be 20%, it'd be 30 to 40% because of GFS, and it's not GFS, the Euro, and its uncertainties right now. But definitely something that we'll have to watch very closely here. Okay, so what is your opinion on the best weather app? David, I'm gonna let you take that one. I've got my opinions on a couple of weather apps here, but I'm gonna let you take that one, David. What would be your favorite one? My favorite one is mainly like Radar Scope or Radar Mega. I like using those as a radar base. I really don't trust, and no offense to any apps out there, I don't trust weather apps. I don't, because they're not right half the time. But normally for radar, if it's just radar by itself, it's like Radar Mega or Radar Scope and stuff like that. If you inbox us, we can give you a link to that as well here. Okay, so I think that is it. Faith, I've already got to yours and stuff like that. Thank you for the update. Thank you all for being here. I'm going to go over this one last time so you guys get a better visual of what we're looking at. So this is the wind chill potential Friday morning. David, Kev, I'm already going to tell you now, Northwest Arkansas, if you get a snowpack up there, I'm going to make a run for a negative 40 up there before this is over. But anyways, so I've already gone over that. So this is Monday morning's winter weather threat across the board. Mid still cold rain for much of central Arkansas. Like I mentioned before, this is not going to be a high impacting winter storm. This is not going to be a massive snowstorm or anything like that. No need for the bread and milk. Save it for Thursday. But North Arkansas, mainly is snow. Could be some sleet mixed in up here in northern Arkansas. Like I mentioned before, it's going to be mainly Monday morning. By the afternoon hours, you should be good to go with a cold rain in South Arkansas, but we shall see what happens at that point. Southern Arkansas, cold rain. I think I'm going to have to trim this map a little bit from the Camden, Magnolia area. Possibly some sleet mixing down here, but we shall see. But this is going to be for onset, by the way. This counts for freezing rain, sleet, possibly some snow on the onset, transitioning over to a cold rain. Your better shot of snowfall is going to be up there in northern and northwestern Arkansas, but in central, I can't rule it out. I can't rule out some sleet, some snow showers first thing Monday morning, and then it will transition over to a cold rain by the time we get towards Monday afternoon here. So take it easy on the roadways. Take it easy on the roadways. Take it easy on the roadways. I'm going to stress that a million times. Take it easy on the roadways Monday morning. You guys know how it's going to be here in Arkansas. Anyways, here's Thursday. Scenario number 1, by the way. If this were to occur, and like I mentioned before, with the Euro's further north, across North Arkansas, your best shot is going to be up there with the accumulating snow. But right now, I have it basically cutting right through central Arkansas. So, southern Arkansas, cold rain to a mix, transitioning over to snow. I think you have a good certainty on snowfall on Thursday. I think it's a good possibility that could go for the entire state. Central and north with scenario number 1, it'll be an all-snow event for central and north Arkansas. Scenario number 2, and this is going to be heavily GFS. Area low pressure down here in northeastern Texas goes through North Louisiana into Mississippi. All snow event across all of Arkansas here. Accumulations will be possible with this as well. Could be some travel issues on Thursday if scenario number 2 were to verify. Also, if you get the low to be strong enough, you get a good amount of moisture return. I can't rule out a winter storm potential, but right now, with it's being day 5, day 4, day 5 right now, it's just it would not be mature of me to put a winter storm warning on this right now. It's too early for all that at this given point here. Okay, so I think I've gone over everything. That's the biggest thing I've seen so far. I'm gonna go over everything right now. So yeah, take it easy on the roadways. That's the biggest thing I'm going to stress to you guys right now, because I know somebody's going to see something on the roadways. They're going to see the snow, and then it just, whee! It just, I've seen it here in Little Rock. It gets nuts across the board. So, yeah, I think that's a great comment. Thank God I make my own bread. That's awesome. So, let me see here. Well, school closed. I already answered that one. Schools are not going to be in session this week. Thank the Lord, because it'd be even worse with school ongoing at this point. Okay, so let me see here. Thank you for that, by the way. That comment. I think that is it. Judy, I'm going to answer your question one last time before I hop off of here. To answer your question, it's going to be a no. That means you're going to see snowfall down there in South Arkansas. I don't know if it's going to be as much accumulation as Central and North, but I do believe at some point on Thursday, everybody will have a shot of snowfall by the time this system gets out of here. No matter the track or anything like that, because you've got the cold air. But we shall see. We shall see. Accumulations, all that good stuff. I can't get to it right now without us, with us being day 4 or day 5 at this point. Okay, so one more thing about the blizzards. Like I mentioned before, that's a day 3, day 4 question. I can't answer that right now. With us being so far out here. Okay, so that's all I got for you guys right now. Thank you guys for tuning in on a Saturday evening. That's all I got. I'm going to go over all the information and stuff like that over the next couple of days. If you're planning on traveling to Arkansas, if you have family members coming in and they don't know about our page, send them a link to our page. Tell them, hey, this is what we're going to be doing. This is what our page does, and stuff like that. That way they know what's coming as we get towards this upcoming week. Y'all be careful out there. We'll keep you guys updated right here in your stores for all things Arkansas weather.